What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Savage Land. Welcome to the top 10 G.I. Joe Classifieds of 2023. As promised, on Christmas Eve, we had the top 10 best G.I. Joe Classifieds that came out in the year 2023. And this year, as actually in the physical year, probably between 55 and 65 classified figures that came out. The other day I put up the top 10 basically worst classifieds of 2023. So if I've done that, I have to put up the top 10 best G.I. Joe classifieds of 2023. And I wouldn't necessarily say I struggled to get to most disappointing or worst classifieds of 2023, but I will say this, it just wasn't an easy pickup to try to decipher that. I had to break it down to even number 10. Not having any QC issues, but I had to go with a rollout issue with the eel. And surprisingly, that is the only one that will pop up on this list also as top 10 best G.I. Joes. But with no further ado, why is Buzzer and Baroness up here? Because they're my honorable mentions. They just didn't quite make the top 10, and I'll tell you why. Baroness is cool. She actually really took me by surprise when I opened up this figure. It's the Baroness I've been waiting on with the double jointed arms. I just wish her ab crunch and articulation in the mid torso was a little bit upgraded. But guess what? All figures throughout Hasbro need to be upgraded in that mid torso with the women. I don't know why they don't like breaking up those lines. Maybe because the figures are smaller, but I don't know. But she looks great. Her face sculpts look really good. This is a really great Baroness. I'm glad I picked up this pack. It is overpriced. The twins in this pack, Zaymont and Tomax, they're really great also, but just simply repaints. Don't know how this exclusive will do. It's still sitting on Pulse after 2 months. So it's one of those type exclusives. So you might be able to catch it on sale later on, but who knows? But I'm glad I picked it up. She looks really great. The lines, the trim on her, the silver paint that they use looks really good, man, and looks really regal, looks really refined, looks like an exclusive figure. We also got Buzzer. Buzzer looks awesome. He's a whole different new take on the Dreadnought Buzzer. Okay, this is not your Beavis and Butthead Buzzer. This is your Kurt Cobain Buzzer. This is your Val Kilmer Buzzer. This is a real refined guy playing a lowlife. Okay, so they did a really good job with his face sculpt, but this is not Buzzer because Buzzer comes with those glasses. You've never seen him with them off. I don't know if he takes them off in the comic book, but I know in the cartoon they're basically fixated to his head. I don't know why they did that, but only thing that kind of saved their ass on that is basically like this guy has a banging face sculpt, man. This is like Shawn Michaels right here. Like the kid looks good, man. So they did a great job on that, and like with Classified, they always give you like a new look of a character that you had a different outtake on. But that's enough of that. These guys didn't make the top 10, but I wanted to shine some light on them and let you know that these are great figures. Buzzer is very well put together. Baroness with the double jointed arms feels really good and premium in hand. She's a great figure to have. But with no further ado, let's get into the top 10 G.I. Joe Classifieds of 2023. Let's do it. Alright, so at number 10, we got Mr. Throw Up himself, Python Patrol Copperhead. Yeah, I know, he is not a favorite with most, but man, I really like this guy here. I think with the crazy paint job, I think he was done really good just for a paint job to be all over the place. I actually like this Copperhead more than the original. I don't know, it's just a funny thing. I just think it's a unique way to go about a unique design and just bring a repaint straight to life. I mean, I really like this guy. I think they did him just right. Like, look at the little hints of gold on the belt buckle. If you look at the machete, you see like little rust areas on the blade. If you look at the holsters that he got, it has like crocodile texture. And then just out of all of that, all these colors, the greens, the yellows, the blacks, the reds, I think they just blend in very well and give a new take on a classic character, man. So just to have something this is the only repaint that I actually have in here, and just to have something unique in the top 10, I'm going with, at number 10, Python Patrol Copperhead. At number 9, we have Buzzer's partner in crime and fellow Dreadnought. We got Ripper. Be honest with you, wasn't really looking too much forward to this character, but I will say this, out of my whole list, he's a very solid character, very in the pocket. Unlike his counterpart, Buzzer, his shades are actually nice. They're not a very pliable plastic. Well, they are, but they're not gummy. They stick on the head very well. On the head sculpt, that's very good. I mean, this guy has a great haircut. As far as his aesthetic, it looks really good to be like a almost military figure. He's pretty much in civilian clothes. They are mercenaries. They're not really military figures. So that's kind of how they just dress in like blue jeans and kind of biker things like of that nature with the Dreadnoughts. But they did a great job, man. Once again, kind of like almost like a little different rendition. Not the Ripper that you're kind of used to, but the classified version mixed with a little bit of retro, man. And they did a really great job, and he's a great addition to the Dreadnoughts, which already look good with Zarana, Zartan, Buzzer, and now Ripper. So they are supposed to be making Zartan's little brother. I think that's the next Dreadnought that's up, and I can't wait because they already stacked up a good crew. So at number 9 on my G.I. Joe Classified list is Ripper. At number 8 on my G.I. Joe Classifieds of 2023, we got my main man, Grunt. And what can I say about this figure other than he's the epitome of an action figure. You might see him a little bit later on in some other stuff, but what a great action figure. He just really took on a different approach with me. I really like this guy, and as you can see, the bent rainbow M16 in the background. And shout out to Lau's Figure Files. I know I was on pretty much on his live stream. I'm always bigging up Grunt, but Grunt is a very solid character. He really has no QC issues. I didn't pay attention to the M16 because I really don't care about G.I. Joe weapons anyway. I'd rather put something from Valaverse in their hand. But as you can see, the gun with the green butt on it, or stock, is the laser gun, which is straight. That M16, yes, it was bowed very well, but you could probably heat it up, put something on it, and straighten it back out. But as far as Grunt in general as an action figure, like I said, what an epitome of an action figure. A green army guy, and they did it very well. The thing about what takes me over the edge with Grunt is his armory building abilities and capabilities. And this year for me, he came at the right time. I found a case of Stalkers at Ollie's for $5, and then himself had went on sale as soon as his street date was up for like $11. I don't know if it was a Target accident or what, but that enabled me to build pretty much a G.I. Joe Grunt army in an unofficial army builder. A lot of different accessories, head sculpts, and things of that nature. Grunt came with also a helmeted head sculpt, and he's also the same figure as Stalker. Stalker is a good counterpart to him, because of course he's African American and Grunt is Caucasian. But when you start mixing those two figures together, you have an unofficial army builder, and you got an army of green grunts, whether they're black or white. So what a great figure. The playability level on him went way up when I figured out that him and Stalker is pretty much the same figure, play for play. And then also with Grunt with the different steel core helmets, he really is the steel core for me. Forget that other pack. But Grunt is number 8 on my best G.I. Joe Classifieds of 2023. And what an awesome number 7 on my G.I. Joe Classifieds of 2023 list is my main man, Scrap Iron. I said he would be a rock star when I first seen him unveiled in February of this year, and I was right. What a solid figure. Not too much to him. Some of my best G.I. Joe Classifieds are solid layouts. They don't have a lot going on with them, but they're just really in the pocket. And this guy right here was an awesome figure to have. As you can see here, he came with his drone, which is something that has a little bit old school and a new school rendition on it. The drone has tracks just like the his tank. The tracks do not move, but far as that, you really don't need it to do that. It would have been awesome for that, but they work just as fine. They do have articulation like ball joints that connect them to enable them to move up and down almost like they're on a rough terrain for tank tracks. And then also, the greatest thing about him is, which Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified does a great job in, they take an old figure and they give him a new rendition. And this time they knocked it out of the park with him. If you've never seen what Scrap Iron looks under that helmet, and they just gave him so much definition. Look at that face. He almost kind of looks like Chunk. Only a face a mother could love before the accident. But with this pink like scarring on his face, like he's been burnt or melted by some acid from explosive or something, that is just awesome. And the helmet just goes on and off. It's very pliable. You can slap it on like it's nothing, but it also gives you like a 2-in-1 type character ordeal with him. And Scrap Iron just looks amazing. The blues up against the reds, just a simple figure, but very, very solid. Looks like they even made him a little bit thicker than he's normally like drawn up. But also with the drone, it has blast effects, missiles, and also with this too, at one point in time, I believe I brought this for like $22 on some crazy shit. That's a crazy deal for this figure. To me, at the end of the day, I always thought it was worth $40, but for $22 at Target, they knocked it out of the park. G.I. Joe Classified knocked it out of the park with Scrap Iron. He's going to be always one of my favorite G.I. Joe Classified Cobra. At number 6 on my G.I. Joe Classifieds of 2023 list is a guy I kind of got infatuated with the closer it came for him to be unveiled at San Diego Comic-Con. First of all, a great rollout for him because he's such an obscure character. If you are saying Chuckles is one of your favorite G.I. Joes, you're probably telling the truth 1 out of 10 times, okay? Nobody gives a shit about Chuckles. But what has happened is, with Classified coming back out, it's making people like characters necessarily that you didn't like before. I do remember Chuckles, but he wasn't a main guy in the shoebox of your G.I. Joe back in the day, the R's, the 3 3/4. But this version right here turned him into a star. He's not quite a rock star, but he is a star. He comes with 2 different head sculpts. This sculpt right here I got on, it's just his regular head sculpt, but kind of giving me Zach Morris vibes from Saved by the Bell. Nice blonde hair. Got the nice Hawaiian shirt on that's tucked in. That's a little bit different from his original, but it has a different paint. But like I said, with Classified, they pretty much just take a new interpretation on the retro figure. Came with plenty of accessories. I will admit this, as far as his loadout on there, it was good, but he had a little bit of tax on him just because he was exclusive. I really truly think he should have been $35 around that price range, but for Classified completions like me, I didn't mind paying the extra $5 to get this guy in my collection. But what was so fun about him is the playability with him. He's a fun, bubbly character without trying to be that. You can put him in a lot of different situations. As far as an exclusive, I think they did him worthy as being an exclusive. He's a great figure. You can have a lot of fun with him. He stayed up on there for a while. They might do another drop maybe later on in the year with him. But if you're on the fence about him, I tell you this, if you buy him, you definitely won't regret getting him, okay? He's not nothing to go ooh and ah over as far as going out your way to get him, but if somebody handed this to you as a gift, or if you brought this out of curiosity, you would not be disappointed. He moves very well. The only thing about him, he should have been a little bit bigger, but Chuckles has been drawn in different iterations and renditions, okay? But when his first appearance in comic book form, he's a big, thick guy. In the G.I. Joe cartoon, he's a big, thick guy. But later on, I think around the time of IDW and things of that nature, Devil's Due, he was a little bit more slimmer. And he's also responsible for killing Cobra Commander, too. But as far as his action figure, it was very solid. I thought all the little shenanigans he had going on with him, handcuffs, briefcase, he also came with Soundwave as a tape recorder. It just makes for a very fun character. His loadout always reminds me of the Marvel Legends 2-pack of Deadpool and Bob Hydra figure. That kind of loadout, just a fun, goofy loadout. But you could also, I call it photography fodder at its best. But we have Chuckles coming in at number 6 on the top 10 G.I. Joe Classifieds of 2023. Coming in at number 5 on my G.I. Joe Classifieds of 2023 is my homegirl Helix. And to be quite honest with you, I knew nothing about Agent Helix. She was basically pretty much a created character in 2009 for the 25th anniversary or Pursuit of Cobra or something like that. And she looks really good. She took me really by surprise. She's a figure that moves really great. She has great accessories. She's a really cute face sculpt. It was kind of hard for me to capture her in the beginning, but she's very photogenic and she's very easy to move around. Plastic on it feels pretty good. There's a little bit gappiness in her midsection. I do not like that at all. But it's not nothing crazy. When you start getting them moving around, dropping down those legs, they can get a little gappy. But as far as her being put together, as far as a figure, she's good to go. I really didn't have any QC issues with her. I think she's pretty solid, and I might say something controversial that you guys don't like, but I think she's better than all three Valaverse girl figures. Just no bullshit. I think she moves better. I think her layout is better as far as her aesthetic, her coloring, her weapons, her face sculpt. I just think she's a better figure all the way around on all three of those. And I got also something with those three Valaverse girls too that I'll talk about in my top 20. But the one that they did never really talk about is the one that shines the most out of those three on the Valaverse side. But we'll get into that on the top 20 countdown of regular action figures. Let's talk about Helix. Helix is great. She's part of the ninja team, so she has two katanas. She also has these articulated blades that can come on and off her wrist. She also has a big machete. She has a sidearm. She has two sidearms, 10mm mags. I forgot about that. Yo, she is dope, yo. She can really get busy too. I had fun taking pictures with her. I said she's a star, man, but damn, she might be a damn rock star. She's on the verge of it. She's in the top 5 of the top 10 list of 2023, so that lets you know how I feel about her. I think she's freaking awesome, and it's always great to have a figure that'll take you by surprise, and that's what Agent Helix is. If you're on the fence about this G.I. Joe lady right here, go ahead and grab her. She is the best G.I. Joe lady that is out. She's better than Jodie Shooter in my eyes, and of course she's better than Baroness and any other female that came before her in the line. And like I said, I'll go ahead and throw it out there. I think she's better than all three Valaverse girls, no doubt. She's pretty nice, yo. She's smooth with it, and she's very photogenic. So at number 5 on my top 10 G.I. Joe Classifieds of 2023, we got my homegirl, Agent Helix. At number 4 on my G.I. Joe Classified of 2023 list, we have the guy who double dipped on the worst G.I. Joe Classifieds of 2023, and simply not because of the figure, but before his rollout, because you cannot really get this guy, and he's an awesome action figure to have. He's an original army builder. He's part of the original Aura collection, and they decided to make this guy an Amazon exclusive. We're talking about the Cobra Eel, and just what a sinister looking figure. Torpedo is pretty much almost the same thing, but look at those eyes in there. God, that looks really good with a pliable helmet that just slips over. I had a lot of fun shooting this guy back in August, taking photography pictures with this guy. I think he was dope. And then when you have more, they look even better. People will get a hold of these eels, but it'll be on a retro card back, so just hold your horses. And I hate to say that to you, because you shouldn't have to hold your horses for this figure right here. It had a very sneaky rollout, and then it only lasted a day, and nobody's seen him ever since. But look at it, his air pack on his back has some nice Cobra Eel insignias on there. The silver, just a little bit silver on the chest, looks really great. Gumby as hell harpoon gun, but looks pretty good. If you can get it straightened out and just have it propped up just for a pose. But the red handle on the knife and the boot pops very well. Just the way he just looks it with his gear. He looks very natural in photos, and I had a very good time shooting this guy. The Cobra Eel is one of my best Cobra army builders. I think it's a great action figure, and once people get their hands on it, they'll see. Just almost kind of like this Mickey Mouse Coco that you kind of see blurry in the background. Once people get their hands on that, they're gonna be like, yo, this is the best Cobra Commander in the classified line. So coming in at number 4 is a straight rock star, and let's pop his helmet off right quick so you can see what I'm talking about as far as this guy up under there. But thought that was Parvama Wolf Spider. It looks like him. But like I said, man, just a great figure. It looks good with it off, man. Just kind of gives you two different figures. His eyes are whited out, so it kind of has like a Sub-Zero type look to him. So when you look in there up under that helmet. It just kind of gives this sinister look. I would not want to run into these guys in the water and see their faces like that. That would scare the shit out of me. Coming in at number 3 on my top 10 G.I. Joe Classifieds of 2023 is my main man, Rock and Roll. And in this last 3, this big 3, every last one of these guys are rock stars. And of course, the rock star is Rock and Roll. And to be honest with you, for a long time, this man was number 1. But we had some guys come and suck him up at the end, and they just really caught me by surprise. But this kid right here is a winner. He came with decent accessories. He has a big gun, but I can't find it right now. But I really don't care about getting that because we're talking about the figure here. Accessories are cool, but just the bare bones down to the bare minimum, this figure is smoking. He has a great body. His buck is nice and beefy. His layout as far as his aesthetic, what he got on, the bandolier belt, all of that looks good. His harnesses on the side, his pouches. I mean, this kid is he's a new favorite of mine. And I want to say, like, if we had this figure when guys were kids, he would be the figure that you're talking about. Like, yeah, man, I used to have Rock and Roll in my back pocket. Forget that. Let's talk about now, like, because no children are playing with toys. Guys now would put this fig in their back pocket. And he's one of those figures that came with extra hands. He's not a deluxe. He's not an exclusive. He's one of the first classifieds that comes with the little horn fingers on it. I don't know what you call it. That's like rock out fingers, hands. And he actually came with a fist. Another rock out hand, but also another knockout hand too. And just look at the big beefy arms on this kid, the tattoos. I mean, all of this stuff looks good. This little bandolier bracelet that he has on, it comes off also when you take the fist off, man. And just far as his hair, his beard, the wash, the blonde hair, he looks freaking fantastic, man. Like, look at that. Man, he looks good. Look at his hair. Jesus Christ. He held the number 1 spot for a long time, man. And his helmet is cool. It's got some writing on it. Hang 10 for like my surfer guys, man. And it just looks really, really awesome, man. He's an awesome figure, man. Rock and Roll's probably number 1 on a lot of guys' lists. He's probably above the guys I'm about to put up at number 1 and number 2. But the only way these guys edged him is because they had more accessories and they were just a little bit more unique as far as the number 2 and number 1 spots. But as far as number 3 is my main man, Rock and Roll, and my top 10 G.I. Joe Classifieds of 2023. Coming in at number 2 on my top 10 G.I. Joe Classifieds of 2023 is my man, Snow Job. This guy is the only guy that can eclipse Rock and Roll. This guy got me by surprise. I bought him maybe like 2 weeks ago, 3 at the most. And man, as soon as I picked him up out the box, I was like, yo, this kid right here is something else. And I cared nothing about the snow figures when they were announced. I didn't care. I was like, hey, I'll get them whatever on both sides. Actually, I was looking at kind of Valorverse figures, the little snow figures over these guys. But this dude right here, fire. And I've got this stood back a little bit because I'm really not a person who puts my G.I. Joes on the shelf with their backpacks. So sometimes it can be kind of a mess dealing with that. They fall over, just the weight of them and everything. But this guy right here, he looks great with his backpack and just fully loaded out. He can hold everything, and I've kept him like this ever since I've got him, man. He's just a great, awesome figure. Snow Job, I cared nothing for, but this guy right here, like, you can already see the wash in his hair, the red hair. Look at his snow goggles with the polarized lenses on him. He just looks phenomenal. He actually moves pretty good too. Down at the torso where the jacket is a cut where he can kind of move around. It has a ball joint and just all the pockets and just the crisp white paint or plastic on him with the brown hits just really takes him to another level. Also, he comes with an extra head sculpt that pretty much has that parka head, that his regular head sculpt in the parka, and that looks amazing. So that's where you can see what his face looks like without those snow goggles, man. And this is just a great G.I. Joe. This is the epitome of G.I. Joe, a military figure with all his gear packed out to the nines. I mean, he has skis, he has a big rifle with the scope on it. I was trying to say sniper rifle with a scope on it. He has snowshoes, he has the ski poles, the tracking poles, and there's just a big backpack, man, and he carries all of this stuff, man. All of this stuff, no problem. He stands up, no problem. He's just a great figure, and the only reason he edged rock and roll because he was so good. He even gave me a thought, so like, yo, this is better than rock and roll, and he is. He comes with more. He's just a more unique figure, being that he's in that suited, like snowsuit body, and he can still get busy, man. This is shelf presence. This is a figure people will pick up and be like, damn, who is this? Like, they start making G.I. Joes again? This is Snow Job? Wow, how far they've come along. And that's what anybody would say who doesn't even collect action figures but knows about G.I. Joe. And anybody who doesn't collect action figures will look at that and be like, that's a nice toy you have there on the shelf. Man, he is dope, man. Snow Job is the number 2 figure, and I battled with this figure at number 1 also. I mean, I had him at number 1 all the way up to 2 days ago, and I had to take him out of there, man. But Snow Job is number 2 on my top 10 G.I. Joe Classifieds of 2023. And the number 1 figure for the Savage Land for G.I. Joe Classified for 2023 is the Cobra Snow Serpent. Might be a little bit controversial, might be a figure a lot of people don't agree upon, but man, this figure is phenomenal, man. This is a great figure. He is packed out to the max. The cool thing about this is you can have 5 of these and it becomes even greater. Far as his weapons, comes with 2 great firearms. Really, 3. Yeah, is it 4? Yeah, no, he has 2 pistols on his hips. He has a laser gun in his right hand, and then he has like more of like an AR-15 kind of modified gun in his left hand. Then he has the rocket launcher in the back. He has the goggles that goes over his face. As you look down, he has the snowboard, which is dope. And then he also has some snow tracking shoes that I left off, man. But this is a great figure. He moves a little bit better than Snow Job. Snow Job moves good, but the reason why he moves better because this dude can move his neck and head like no other, man. And being in a suited figure, and then he has a little bit more with his because he has the fur around his neck. He can just really get busy, man. I think he's a great figure. The blue accents on his layout, man, helps him pop, helps him stand out. Also with the white base from all the other Cobra Troopers just sitting back. Look at all the other Cobra Troopers, that deep red, the deep blue in the background, and then this guy just popping right here in front of us with the white layout, man. I think this is an awesome figure. I think this is an awesome deluxe. If you can catch this guy cheaper than $35, you have a steal. You have a steal. And also, that's what it was. I was just thinking, what brought this guy to number 1? What brought this guy to number 1? He's not an exclusive. Snow Job is an exclusive. You have to go to Hasbro Pulse and get him. Who knows, in the future, maybe they'll give him a general release. But as far as this guy right here, I got this guy from GameStop, and that's what it was. That was the only thing that really edged him over Snow Job. Just something very meticulous and small like that, because they're pretty much one and the same. Let's just be honest here. They even share some parts to a certain degree. But that suited body, as far as a jumpsuit from Hasbro for the G.I. Joe line this year, is killing it. Because also, I believe the Mole Rats had that same mold too, and that was a great figure. I debated on putting that on the top 10. But man, let's just be honest, man. You could take 15, 20 Joes and make up a top 10. Everybody's top 10 is going to be different. Now, what you can't admit about mine is my shit is solid. My shit is solid now because I'm into classified. So you cannot deny who I picked, but we all will have different arrangements. Even when it comes down to the Eel, like that's an exclusive. But hey, I was biased as hell on that because that is a dope figure. dope figure. So I put him back in the top 10. But we're talking about the Snow Serpent, the guy who holds the belt this year, the championship for G.I. Joe Classified, in my eyes, and ironically is an army builder. But for the most part, the army builders in G.I. Joe Classified is the ones I gravitate to more, because they just put so much love and care into this. And I didn't give a shit about a Snow Serpent, a snow job, or anybody getting a snow job on a Snow Serpent in the middle of Denver, Colorado. I didn't give a shit about that. But I've had this guy for only 3 weeks also too, and they just really made me change my mind about who was number one. They really etched Rock and Roll out, because Rock and Roll was holding it down for like 6 months. Couldn't be touched. And behind him was Grunt. But of course, we rethink things over, and what made me with these guys is instantly touching them. When I pulled this Snow Serpent out on a random Sunday, I stopped at GameStop and like, let me see what's in here. I said, oh, the Snow figure. You know what? I ain't got nothing new. Let me check this out. So I picked him up, and I'm glad I did, man. This is an awesome figure. This is my best classified I feel like I have of 2023, and I got a lot of good ones, man. Cobra Snow Serpent, if you're on the fence about him, I know they had a sale, which I wasn't able to capitalize on about 3 weeks ago, a month ago, Black Friday, of if you buy 2, you get 1 free. And that for, what, $70 getting 3 of these, that busts it down to $25 a piece. You gotta fucking steal. If you bought this guy for $25, packed out, loaded out like how he is, in such a great quality figure that he is, man, with so much stuff, man. For $25, you got a damn steal with this. Now, they're supposed to come out with a retro card of this also a little bit more stripped down, which will be awesome to get too. But me personally, I would love to have 1 or 2 more of these deluxe, man. So, Cobra Snow Serpent is the #1 figure of G.I. Joe Classified for 2023 with the Savage Land. I'm glad you guys stuck around for the video if you watched to the end. Also, I got an army build video coming out, just going over my personnel, this big army you see in the background. Then we also, around New Year's Eve, we'll have the top 20 action figures of 2023, man. So I think I got enough figures. I think I got a solid list going. I got a few more additions, a few more switch arounds, but we're gonna get it nice and tight and refined. But with that being said, this is the Savage Land. We do this for the love and beauty of action figures in 2023. And with that being said, give me a like, comment, subscribe. You can check me out on my Instagram at Geppetto910. And until the next time, which will be shortly, God bless.